we're ready to actually make our alignments now. So go ahead and make a copy of your file, as is good practice. And I'm going to call this one before B alignment creation, but stick with whatever naming scheme you have going on. So I'm just going to open that up, and it's going to be the exact same, which is good. And now we'll actually make some alignments. So if you go to your Home tab on the ribbon, Alignments is right here on the top of Create Design. The way I like to think about alignments is that alignments are a good way of modeling linear horizontal features, primarily. So a good example of a linear horizontal feature is just a roadway, a long sidewalk, maybe a tunnel, anything that is much longer than it is wide or high or tall. Alignments are sort of a plan representation of your linear horizontal feature. So they show the northing and the easting of your design, or you can call it the X and the Y, for example, the north, south, east, west plane, whereas profiles will show the elevation, the up and down of your design. Another good analogy to think about is that alignments are akin to your alignments are akin to your plan views. Profiles are similar to your profile views. And when we get to the assembly tool is like your section views. So we're going to do all of those, and we're going to do them by modeling McCormick, Alderman, and Treehouse Drive. We're going to start by going to the alignment tool, and you can see there's multiple ways to create alignments. For example, you can draw a polyline and then make an alignment from that polyline, but we're just going to create an alignment from scratch. So we're going to call this Alderman Road, and I'm going to call this South North just to show that I'm sort of as a reminder that I'm modeling this from the south to the north, but you don't have to do it that way if you don't want to. Just keep it as a center line. These are different types of alignments, and we're just going to use a center line for now. Then you can see the alignment style. We're modeling an existing road, so I'm going to click existing, but you can use whatever you want. And for the labeling set, I'm going to change this to major and minor. It can get really cluttered when you have all the labels on there, and you can always change the label sets after you've made the alignment, so it's not a big deal if we don't show that information now. You can also see that alignments have their own layers. See road, that's really cool and great for isolating parts of your drawings as you need. I'm going to click OK, and you can see alignment creation tool bar kind of pop up here as a little window. It might pop up here on the top left for you. Looking at this bar, you can see a couple different tools. Here to the left is mostly your creation tools. The middle has a lot of editing specific features or adding specific features that you want. And then this is a delete button for your alignment, and then here's just some information represented in table form. So to create your alignment, go to the very left, and you can see three options in this drawing drop-down. There's tangent, tangent, no curves. So this is basically just going to draw straight lines between the points you select. We've all driven on a roadway before, and we know that we don't go on 30-degree lines. There's always a curve. So tangent, tangent with curves is the option we'll be using. The other option is spiral, which you can see here, curve and spiral settings. The curves that we use to model a roadway using tangent, tangent are of constant radius. So they're connecting the tangent lines in a constant radius. Spiral curves are how you can have a curve of varying radius, so therefore a varying rate of change. That's very common for tight or really long curves, such as interstate ramps. If you've ever been on an interstate on-ramp or off-ramp, a lot of those have spiral curves where they get tighter because they assume that you're either slowing down or speeding up. So which you can use with curves and select that. Now when I hover over my drawing, you can see that it's asking me to select a start point for our alignment. I'm modeling Alderman Road, which is this one, and I'm going south to north. So I'm going to start as far down as I can and go as far up as I can. I want to be able to click exactly where I want my line to be, but you can see all of these different reference points showing up, and they're going to snap the drawing to those points, my lines. So I'm just going to turn the object snapping off and then freehand draw this based off of the imagery. So I can go here, and I'm going to do my best to stay near the center of the roadway, about where the double yellow lines would be on a road. And I'm going to go through and click. Keep in mind, the more points you make, the more accurate you'll be, but the longer it takes, and you also have the potential to maybe over-model your roadway in a sense. So I'm just going through, making my entire roadway, and then going to get to the end here, and then I'm just going to click Enter when I'm done, and you can see the alignment is now created. These numbers on the alignment are station numbers. Station numbers represent the distance from the start point along any linear or horizontal feature that an alignment has. So this is labeled as a number plus another number. The first number is the number of hundreds of feet you've gone from the start point. And the second number is the number of feet you have in addition to, so added to those hundreds of feet. So, for example, this is 100 feet, right? 100 plus 0, 100 feet. This is 200 feet, 300 feet, and so on. If we go to the very end, you can see the entire length of this that I modeled is 1,600 feet plus 20 feet, so 1,620 feet. If you mess up your alignment creation at any point, you can just hit enter, and you can either choose to delete the entire alignment and start again, or you can use this delete sub-entity button and click on the sub-entities you want to delete, for example, like this, and then click enter, and my alignment will update. I can then add to this by using the same drawing tools here. So using this. Now, importantly, I'm going to turn on object snapping. I'm going to hit F3. My object snapping is on, just so I can exactly align the points here, and then I'll turn it right back off. And then you can continue with modeling your alignments. You can see those all updated. That's just showing a marker because it is joined together, but those are two distinct drawings I made, I guess, is one way to look at it. And so that's Alderman Road. We're going to do the same thing for McCormick Road and Treehouse Drive, but you can kind of tell that these don't have any elevation data to them. They're just lines on plan view. So if I actually select my surface and select the alignment, and I go to the model viewer, you won't really see anything because there's nothing really there. Right now, I think the alignment just follows the surface elevation exactly. So it is totally flat to the surface and you can't see anything. The object viewer might show this a little bit better. Yeah, you can see the alignment there, and notice how the alignment is just at 0. It's not on the surface at all. So do the same thing, and I'm going to do the same thing for McCormick and Treehouse Drive as well. It's important to note that you want an intersection point to form between the roadways you are crossing, so make sure you make a point there if you can. For McCormick Road, I'm going to go west to east, and I'm going to go west to east for Treehouse Drive as well. When you do this, you want to make a new alignment, so I'm going to click out of this creation tool and go back to the alignment creation tools and make a new alignment. For example, McCormick. All right, I just finished modeling all 3 of my roadways. You can see them here on the map, especially if I turn down the fade a little bit. And this looks pretty good to me. It's following the roadways. I've been in this area before, and that looks pretty good. I also made sure that my alignments intersect at Treehouse and Alderman, and that they intersect at McCormick and Alderman as well. I used the tangent with curves to draw all of this, And now that we've done this, we can go on to the next part, which is profiles. And in profiles, we will look at what this looks like in the elevation point of view. Again, make multiple saves as you need, and there will be one optional video after this going over adding labels to the road if you want to, but that is totally optional.